Let us today discuss about critical thinking skills. Critical thinking is the ability to collect and analyze information to come to a conclusion. Being able to think critically is important in virtually every industry and applicable across a wide range of positions. That's because critical thinking isn't subject-specific, rather, it's your ability to parse through information, data, statistics, and other details in order to identify a satisfactory solution. Definitions of critical thinking. Various scholars have provided definitions of critical thinking, each emphasizing different aspects of this complex cognitive process. Michael Scriven, an American philosopher, defines critical thinking as the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and/or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. Robert Ennis, professor emeritus at the University of Illinois, describes critical thinking as reasonable, reflective thinking focused on deciding what to believe or do. Diane Halpern, a cognitive psychologist and former president of the American Psychological Association, defines it as the use of cognitive skills or strategies that increase the probability of a desirable outcome. Developing your critical thinking skills improves your problem-solving skills, boosts your data-driven decision-making ability, and gives you a methodology to tackle complex problems. Good critical thinkers are comfortable with ambiguity and are willing to challenge their hypotheses in order to come to the best conclusions. Here are 8 essential critical thinking skills to develop. Critical thinking is essential for success in everyday life, higher education, and professional settings. The Handbook Foundation for Critical Thinking defines it as a process of conceptualization, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of information. In no particular order, here are 8 key critical thinking abilities that can help you excel in any situation. Point 1. Analytical thinking. Analytical thinking involves evaluating data from multiple sources in order to come to the best conclusions. Analytical thinking allows people to reject cognitive biases and strive to gather and analyze intricate subject matter while solving complex problems. Analytical thinkers who thrive at critical thinking can identify patterns and trends in the data, break down complex issues into manageable components, recognize cause and effect relationships, evaluate the strength of arguments and evidence. Example: a data analyst breaks down complex sales figures to identify trends and patterns that inform the company's marketing strategy. 2. Open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is the willingness to consider new ideas, arguments, and information without prejudice. This critical thinking skill helps you analyze and process information to come to an unbiased conclusion. Part of the critical thinking process is letting your personal biases go, taking information at face value and coming to a conclusion based on multiple points of view. Open-minded critical thinkers demonstrate willingness to consider alternative viewpoints, ability to suspend judgment until sufficient evidence is gathered, receptiveness to constructive criticism and feedback, flexibility in updating beliefs based on new information. Example: during a product development meeting, a team leader actively considers unconventional ideas from junior members, leading to an innovative solution. 3. Problem solving. Effective problem solving is a cornerstone of critical thinking. It requires the ability to identify issues, generate possible solutions, evaluate alternatives, and implement the best course of action. This critical thinking skill is particularly valuable in fields like project management and entrepreneurship. Key aspects of problem solving include clearly defining the problem, gathering relevant information, brainstorming potential solutions, evaluating the pros and cons of each option, implementing and monitoring the chosen solution, reflecting on the outcome and adjusting as necessary. Example: a high school principal uses problem-solving skills to address declining student engagement by surveying learners. consulting with higher education experts, and implementing a new curriculum that balances academic rigor with practical, real-world applications. Point 4.
For reasoned judgment. Reasoned judgment is a key component of higher-order thinking that involves making thoughtful decisions based on logical analysis of evidence and thorough consideration of alternatives. This critical thinking skill is important in both academic and professional settings. Key aspects of reasoned judgment include objectively gathering and analyzing information, evaluating the credibility and relevance of evidence, considering multiple perspectives before drawing conclusions, making decisions based on logical inference and sound reasoning. Example: a high school science teacher uses reasoned judgment to design an experiment, carefully observing and analyzing results before drawing conclusions about the hypothesis. 5. Reflective thinking. Reflective thinking is the process of analyzing one's own thought processes, actions, and outcomes to gain deeper understanding and improve future performance. Good critical thinking requires analyzing and synthesizing information to form a coherent understanding of a problem. It's an essential critical thinking skill for continuous learning and improvement. Key aspects of reflective thinking include critically examining one's own assumptions and cognitive biases, considering diverse viewpoints and perspectives, synthesizing information from various experiences and sources, applying insights to improve future decision-making and actions, continuously evaluating and adjusting one's thinking processes. Example: a community organizer reflects on the outcomes of a recent public event, considering what worked well and what could be improved for future initiatives. 6. Communication. Strong communication skills help critical thinkers articulate ideas clearly and persuasively. Communication in the workplace is crucial for effective teamwork, leadership, and knowledge dissemination. Key aspects of communication and critical thinking include clearly expressing complex ideas, active listening and comprehension, adapting communication styles to different audiences, constructing and delivering persuasive arguments. Example: a manager effectively explains a new company policy to her team, addressing their concerns and ensuring everyone understands its implications. 7. Research. Critical thinkers with strong research skills gather, evaluate, and synthesize information from various sources of information. This is particularly important in academic settings and in professional fields that require continuous learning. Effective research involves identifying reliable and relevant sources of information, evaluating the credibility and bias of sources, synthesizing information from multiple sources, recognizing gaps in existing knowledge. Example: a journalist verifies information from multiple credible sources before publishing an article on a controversial topic. 8. Decision-making. Effective decision-making is the culmination of various critical thinking skills that allow an individual to draw logical conclusions and generalizations. It involves weighing options, considering consequences, and choosing the best course of action. Key aspects of decision-making include defining clear criteria for evaluation, gathering and analyzing relevant information, considering short-term and long-term consequences, managing uncertainty and risk, balancing logic and intuition. Example: a homeowner weighs the costs, benefits, and long-term implications before deciding to invest in solar panels for their house.